what other, I'm not really sure what other people would do. Oh my God.
I'm still here. I honestly was convinced the whole time that I was getting evicted. I had high hopes after I spoke to every single person in the game that I was going to be safe. To my dismay, they were all lying to me, or at least 5 of them were, because I only had 5 votes to stay. And that's totally fine. That just means that I can continue to lie low and be antisocial and still know who has my back and who doesn't.
You might be wondering how that happened. Last night, I realized that it was going to be way too hard for us to try to get the votes. I knew that because of the connections that I had developed so far, I could get Jacob, Dustin, and Joe would be on board to keep Jonathan. The tricky thing with that was that those were 4. We needed 1 more vote. Jonathan was pretty confident that he could get someone. Jacob was thinking maybe he could get someone. We were all kind of trying to run around and make sure that we had that vote. But while this was happening, I made sure that I worked on Plan B. Plan B was to talk to Brady. Make Brady believe that Jonathan is not going to come after him if he stays. I was on call with Jonathan, and Jonathan's like, Brady's trying to call me, what should I do? And I'm like, get on call with him and tell him that you guys are good. Even if you don't mean it, Jonathan, just say it. So he gets on call. They talk for a bit. Next thing I know, Brady's messaging me saying, tell everyone to vote out Pam. Tell everyone that if it ties, I'm voting out Pam. And I'm like, no way. This was exactly what we needed, because I think a lot of people this week were just looking to vote in the majority, but they weren't exactly sure what the majority was. But if they hear that if it ties, that Brady is going to even vote out Pam, that kind of solidifies another vote against Pam. All we had to do was wait for someone to decide that they wanted to flip with us. Brady tried working on Ryan. Jacob tried working on Sean. None of it was really working, so we were kind of banking on just someone wanting to f**k shit up last second. And it turns out it was Andrew. Andrew decides to flip his vote last second and vote Pam out with us. Brady breaks the tie, and I'm sitting in such a better position than I thought I was going to be. And now it's time to celebrate. Bye, bitches. I'm literally so f***ing happy. I can't believe I f***ing did that. Like, Brady went from wanting Jonathan out to literally breaking the tie to keep him. And it's all thanks to this bitch right here. I did it.
Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you play a week of Big Brother Basics. I think it's safe to say that my mind was all over the place, mostly just because it's the first week. No one really knows where everyone is at, and everybody's dancing around saying like, oh yeah, I feel so bad for the nominees, I don't know what to do, I just want to vote with the majority. And I was just like, God, this is so stupid. I think that the side that is sketched out about me, like Taylor, Chris, and Andrew, I guess mostly just Taylor, honestly, really wanted Jonathan out. So I'm thinking, okay, well then we should keep Jonathan in. It's perfect. And so finally I just kind of got over this whole like fear of being the majority, and I just kind of needed a push from Jonathan, honestly. And I was finally just like, you know what, F it, I'm voting Pam out. That's where I am. That's where I lie.
I didn't know Jacob was going to flip his vote. I'm really upset that he did. I wish he wouldn't have, but at the end of the day, I don't care.
And the moment I said that is the moment that Chris and Andrew they both went from like, oh yeah, I just don't know, I'm so in between, to no, I'm voting Jonathan out. So then I start thinking, okay, well, forget these guys. They know, it sounds like they've wanted to vote out Jonathan this whole time, and that they're just giving me the reach around. So I'm thinking, okay, well, Jonathan's screwed. It's at best going to be me, Dustin, Shelby, and Joe to vote Pam out. Lo and behold, it's a tie. It's a tie, ladies and gentlemen. 5-5, which means our good friend, Mr. Brady, had to break the tie. He just evicted Pam. How about that, America? The guy that he went through so much trouble to see if he had the votes, the one that caused such a huge scene when he put him up at the veto ceremony, he voted to evict the other person. Isn't this such a beautiful game? My one thing, though, the one thing I do want to know is who was that fifth vote? I don't think it was Mandy. Definitely don't think it was Taylor. And I don't think it was Chris. And I know it wasn't Ryan. So, with the process of elimination, it was Andrew. Here's what I think happened. I think Joe and I think Jonathan really just pressured the shit out of Andrew. I think Jonathan knew that Andrew was literally the vote that would keep him in the game, and he probably just, knowing Jonathan, just went at him just over and over and over until I guess Andrew felt guilty about it and decided to throw a vote.
I was kind of torn on who I wanted to vote between John and Pam. I originally wanted Pam out 100%, or I wanted Pam to stay 100%. But then as things started to progress, I kind of had like a change of my thought process kind of changed around. I kind of talked it out with people from the other side who were voting to keep John. And they, I don't know, I knew that going up first week, I was at the bottom of the house on both sides. Brady told me when I was nominated, I was being thrown around by a lot of people, which kind of threw me off. Well, Joe and John told me that Brady was going to keep Pam if the vote tied, or send Pam out if the vote tied. I was kind of like thrown off by that because I'm like, why would you renom someone and then want to keep them after? So I was kind of thrown off by that. But believing that, I decided that it was best to keep Pam out of or to get rid of Pam, because it positioned me in a spot where if either side won HOH, I would be like as safe as possible. I knew that if I voted out John and then somebody who voted to keep John won HOH, I was first up because I was already nominated from that side. They didn't want any more blood in my hands. I was guaranteed going up, and I knew that for a fact. If I flipped, which I did, and played like tied the vote, people who voted to keep John wouldn't nominate me because I just voted with them. But people who voted to keep Pam I don't think would want to target me like out of that whole group. There's bigger targets on that side because they all know each other, and I don't think they would nominate me. Like, I don't know. That was my thought process.
So the vote was revealed as 5-5, and I was ecstatic. I could not believe that what I was fighting all day to do happened at the whim of me messaging Andrew last minute just to double check, like, hey Andrew, this is what we need to do. Pam going is good for your game, and that basically saying the people that are voting for Pam to stay are the people that would have voted for you to go if you did not win the veto. And I think that's really what sunk in for him. And it's just great because he did it. We did it. I cannot believe it. Andrew, I'm going to work with him as best I can. I want to save him and take him as far as I can in this game because, one, I owe it to him for this, and two, he is a nice kid, and I want to see him do well.
So I knew it was going to be close. I knew it was going to come down to being like 6-4 either way, or 5-5. And actually, I was here for it. Like, I really wanted it to be that way because I really wanted to see like who's being straight up, who is like telling everyone what they want to hear, and it literally like mission accomplished.
Chris, you talked to me for an hour today, an hour on call. You did not pay attention to anything I said. You just regurgitated what I said and said, oh, well, it's this way, but or it could also be this way. You thought you knew where the votes were, and they were that way until they flipped. It flipped.
What it did show is that there are a couple people in particular who are a little suspect. And in particular, I'm talking about Andrew and Sean. My gut is telling me that I should just trust Sean, but he also is a really good player. And I feel like, if the opportunity is right, he will do something that will benefit himself that could fuck me. Andrew, on the other hand, is shady as f***. I'm almost certain that he's the one that went to everyone and whatever vibe you were giving off and saying, oh, what you were going to do, then he was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that too. I think that he voted to evict Pam. I expect many, many more situations with him doing this. He is just low-key, like, shady. Like, I don't know. Something about him just seems slimy, and I am not here for it. I'm not going to do it with him.
I was shocked. I did not expect that at all. Literally, I wish you could see our faces of just me, Shelby, Joe, and Jacob just being shocked. I don't really know who did it. Everyone thinks it's Andrew. No one trusts Andrew. Everyone thinks he's a liar and a flipper and a double talker, as Chris Brown calls it. Andrew is on some thin ice. I don't trust him. Most people in the house don't trust him. Most people in the house don't like him. They had 2 house calls, both nights for like 5 hours each. Andrew didn't pop on once. And that's going to come back and hurt him, I think. I got a lot closer with Chris, but also the people I trust the most, Shelby, Jacob, Joe. My strategy for the game is just keep the people I like in. Like, the people that get on the house calls and talk and want to do things.
So last night, there was a house call with me, Dustin, Jacob, Chris, and then Taylor hopped on for a little while, and Sean also hopped on for a little while. For the most part, it was pretty good. It was pretty chill. Everybody was just kind of like drinking and having a good time.
Come on, let's do it. Let's do it.
Jonathan. Yeah.
Thanks, guy.
I hate this. Okay, I think Chris is really sneaky, and I hate it because I genuinely like him as a person. I think he's awesome, but I totally see through whatever the he's doing. Like last night on call, he was like messaging me through the call, like, and I can just tell, like, Chris is a social player. He works on his social connections and hopes that that's gonna keep him through the whole game. And he tries to do this thing where he's like, oh, I'm not that good at games. Like, I'm really just here to have a good time. Like, I'm not a player, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I totally see through it.
No, I hate that word. No, don't say the word HOH. Wait,
why don't you like the word HOH?
No, because it's like, these games, they're like so stressful.
Because now we're talking about games instead of like just fun stuff.
I know, because y'all said the word HOH and I got triggered.
And I just think it's kind of funny that he thinks that everybody's just going to fall for it, because I'm not. Chris and Taylor are easily the sneakiest people in this game, and I am not about it at all. Even after the vote happened, like, Taylor was messaging me, like, I guess trying to stay good with me, and it's just like, why are you doing this? And I also hate the fact, like, I swear to God, if one more person asks me a question about me working at Sephora, I'm actually gonna fucking chop their head off. I feel like I've had to say like 4 times now that I don't start until October, and that I put in my 2 weeks, and that I'm still working. Like, people keep asking me how's Sephora, like this, that. It's like, you bitches don't even listen. If you're gonna try to like pretend, like, at least listen better. I feel like there's a bunch of fake people. Well, not a bunch, but like Taylor and Chris is enough. Like, I want them out next. Like, they have to go. I really don't want to win HOH. I really, really, really don't want to win HOH. But I do definitely feel that either me, Jacob, Dustin, Joe, Jonathan have to win HOH.
The way I see it is, if my 5 votes that saved me win head of household, I'm fine. If one of the 5 votes that evicted me win head of household, I am nominated next to Andrew, because I'm the person they voted for, and he's the person that was a flip-flopper, who is the reason why I'm still in the game anyway.
So we are going into the HOH tonight, and I don't really know what my strategy is. Michael obviously can't compete, so there's not really a benefit there. Like, if I won HOH, I don't know who I'd put up. I'd probably put up Ryan, because we haven't talked. And I might put on Sean, just because, again, I haven't talked to him. I'm sad that Pam left. Obviously, her and I were talking a lot, but not to the point of an alignment. I straight up told Jonathan, I'm like, hey, I voted for you. I hope it really is no hard feelings. Like, obviously, I talked to Pam more than you.
Some people are messaging me after the fact to say why they evicted me. It doesn't really matter to me. It's indiscriminate. I still have a pecking order of who I want to go for if I win this HOH, which I'm really hoping I can. But you know what? If I'm just going to be the public enemy number 1, then that's fine. I'm just going to keep trying to lay low and hope my situation changes by other people making themselves bigger targets.
I won HOH last week, duh, and I evicted Pam. Yeah, I did that. The good thing from that, though, is that there's kind of now 2 sides. There's a group with Taylor, Chris Brown, Sean, Ryan, Amanda, and Andrew, who is also questionable as f***. And then there's side B, which is Shelby, Joe, Dustin, Jacob, and John. 2 sides, A, B. This group trusts me. This group trusts me. Everyone trusts me. I'm kind of the referee. Or the sheriff. I don't know what I am. I'm just in the middle here, chilling, and I'm just like, okay, if they want HOH, I'll be with them, and they'll take a shot at them. If they want HOH, okay, I'm over here, let them get shot at. So I'm kind of just chilling in the middle, which is cool, kind of where I want to be. It wasn't really intentional for this to be the way it is, but I'll take it because it means I'm safe as shit. I trust the people more in the group with Taylor and Ryan and Amanda and Sean. I trust those people, and Chris Brown. I trust all those people. So I want that side to win.
As long as I'm still okay with Joe and Jacob, then I'm fine. I don't know for sure that I am, but depending on who wins HOH, I feel like I should be okay. I don't know who would nominate me or like what reason specifically they'd have to do it, but I mean, if they do, they do. There's not really anything I can do about it. They either want me or they don't.
Hello, house guests. Welcome to the second Head of Household competition of the season, 3 words. Michael Brady, as outgoing HOH, you are ineligible to compete. This competition will test your observational and memory skills. For the past 11 days, 3 words were plastered over everyone's avatar on the Big Brother Basics forum. These were the words each house guest used to describe themselves during their Big Brother Basics casting interview. This information will come into play for tonight's competition. On Go, the backyard category will be available to you. You will see a thread with your name on it. Inside the thread with your name will be a link to a PowerPoint presentation over Google Slides. The Google Slides contain images of all of the Season 3 house guests, along with a word bank of various adjectives that each house guest used to describe themselves. Your job is to correctly assign which 3 words belong to each house guest. The word bank slide contains all of the words. Each word is an image, not text. You must cut or copy the image of the word and paste it on the blank line under the house guest you think the word applies to. You may not submit text. If you submit text, the submission does not count. The person who has the most points, or if there is a tie for most points, the person who submitted the quickest will become this week's head of household. The backyard will be available to you in 3, 2, 1. Again, good luck, everybody.
HOH tonight was called 3 words and involved us getting into a PowerPoint slide and having to remember the 3 words that we described ourselves when we were interviewed for the game. My initial response was, well, I'm really glad that I didn't take the time to write down everybody's words because I don't even remember any of them. Any, except for Andrew, who it was like, you know, everyone knows Andrew's.
Yes, I don't remember everyone's words.
I'm thinking, great, if all someone had to do was wrote these words down at the very beginning of the game and they automatically win this HOH. If Taylor or Chris or Mandy or Andrew did that, then they're gonna win and I'm gonna feel super vulnerable this week.
And just for everyone's knowledge, Sean is unavailable to compete as he only has his phone right now.
So I'm going through this competition and I am just confused as hell, and I'm just thinking, okay, Dustin, you don't know all of them. You probably know half of them. Get the ones you know down, put the rest that you think could go in, and submit first, just in case there's a tie. Because, you know, there's a chance, 1 in 39 chance that it could possibly tie.
Done.
I submitted first, and I'm glad that I was the one that I felt so good submitting first because I felt like, hey, maybe there's a chance.
So I'm working on the words, I'm trying to remember. There's a lot of words that I'm kind of throwing on multiple people, thinking that one of them will stick. I see the word woman and I go, okay, well, I'll just put this word for all 4 of the girls, that kind of thing.
Finished.
Dustin says that he's done. Jacob says he's done. Joe says he's done. And I'm like, okay, maybe they had a list somewhere because they finished this so quick, and I'm feeling really good about them doing well in the competition.
Finished. All right, Chris and Jonathan, thank you so much.
I'm looking at these words and I'm trying to think, okay, who's this? Who's that? And there's a few that I can remember just because they stuck out in my head. So like I remember Jacob's words, I remember my words, I remember Andrew's words, I remember Mandy's words, and then there's some people I have no idea. I have no idea what Taylor's words are, Sean's words are, and I just pull words, delete them, move them around, and I'm like, I'm
Finished. This leaves Taylor.
Taylor took the longest, and I'm thinking it's because she had this in the bag. She was thinking really carefully about her answers, and I'm thinking, okay, well, oh my god, like, Taylor's gonna win HOH, I'm gonna be in trouble, I have no idea what she's gonna do, this is worst case scenario.
Alska, so we do have a winner. I'll be revealing it from the person who submitted it last to the person that submitted it first. Alright, so Taylor, you would have gotten a score of 10. However, you manually written all of your responses. Therefore, you got a 0. You're supposed to copy and paste the image. So right now, Taylor is in the lead with 0 points. Andrew, you have a total score of 12, but currently Andrew's in the lead with 12 points. Mandy, you received a score of 11. I'm sorry, that's not enough to beat Andrew. Andrew remains in the lead. Shelby, you received a score of 25. Shelby is in the lead. Next person to submit is Jonathan. Jonathan, you received a score of 19. I'm sorry, Jonathan, that's not enough to beat Shelby. Shelby remains in the lead. Chris, you have received a score of 19. I'm sorry, Chris, that's not enough to beat Shelby. Shelby remains in the lead. Ryan, you received a score of 14. I'm sorry, Ryan, that's not enough to beat Shelby. Shelby remains in the lead. Jacob, you received a score of 12. Sorry, Jacob, that's not enough to beat Shelby. Shelby, you remain in the lead. Joe, you received a score of 14. I'm sorry, Joe, that's not enough to beat Shelby. Shelby, you remain in the lead. This leaves it between Shelby and Dustin. One of you will be this week's new head of household.
When I found out that it came down to me and Shelby in the HOH, I was so f***ing happy. I was ecstatic.
Dustin, you received a score of 15, which means congratulations, Shelby. You are this week's new head of household. Head of Shelby. I'm back, holy shit. That's so wow. Yeah. What was he next?
My reaction to Shelby getting HOHs. I should have expected that something with those words was going to happen eventually. I should have written them down.
So ultimately, Shelby wins HOH. I'm feeling great. This is my secret alliance member, my final 2. There's no way I'm going on the block this week. And you know what that means. Your boy isn't getting evicted on the day before his birthday. Hopefully.
So basically, I'm safe this week. I'm not sure what Shelby's going to do for sure, but I know that Taylor is possibly one of the nominees, and I'm happy for it because apparently Taylor has been really throwing me and maybe Jacob and other people under the bus, and that bus is not ready to be thrown, I guess. Apparently Sean was also throwing us under the bus, and this bus just has a lot of room for people to throw us under, apparently, but I am very confident and very glad to have Shelby on my side, especially this week with her being the head of household. No fuss, no muss, no cookie dust. We're safe! We're safe! We're not going home! We're not going home! I'm not getting evicted on my birthday! Yes! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Shelby won the HOH. We're ecstatic.
I'm so happy. I was so nervous the entire time.
I was nervous until after I heard Shelby score, and then I was like, oh, she's got this. There's no way anybody can beat that.
For sure. But the build up to them announcing the scores, I thought Taylor had it for sure.
Because she did so well in other games with taking notes.
She took so long. I was like, she's
making sure she got a perfect score.
Yeah, I'm already thinking I'm gonna have to throw Joe under the bus. Ooh. I'm just kidding. Obviously, a lot of people are gonna want Andrew gone. I think that's what a lot of people would push, and for that reason, I almost don't want Andrew to go. You know.
But we got a lot to think about.
That's true.
It's
Ultimately,
Shelby's HOH
yeah,
reign.
That's true. We can't get ahead
cannot
of
be
ourselves.
pushy. We have to stay back.
Yeah, well, the last thing we need are people talking about how like
Take a left here.
we're determining
Her HOH reign.
Yeah, that's the last thing.
Oh
we need.
yeah, oh yeah.
So-
I love Shelby. I'm happy that she won.
Yeah, Shelby's pretty cool.
You were a little nervous?
I was a little nervous about like, I mean, hopefully her and Dustin like keep our best interest, but
I think they do.
When they added us to that Skype call before the challenge tonight, I felt really, really good.
Yeah.
So like for that reason, I know that I just don't see you and I going this week.
There's just not much else to do. I guess we're gonna coast this week.
Oh, I'm gonna
lay
coast
low.
the shit out of this week.
Jacob's birthday. I guess we're gonna get some dinner
Oh,
on
we're gonna
Friday
get dinner.
somewhere.
It's gonna be delicious. We're gonna still be house guests. It's gonna be great.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
We'll see.
Good job, Joe. I'm so proud of you.
For doing what?
For just being there.
Oh, thanks.
I'm so happy I'm playing this game with you.
You better not get me on next week.
I'm not.
I don't know how much we trust Sean right now. I at least know. Did you talk to him?
I talked to him a little bit today. He, I think, is still kind of wary of you.
Me?
More so than me.
Why me?
Because
I told him straight up what I was doing.
I know. I mean, well,
You were the wishy-washy one.
I know, but I mean, I don't know what this. I'm just saying. He wanted to, because I think Sean really wants to get like a group going, and he's told me that he brought that up to you, and you were very much like, I don't want to get a group going.
Well, yeah, because it gets found out really easily.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
It's
really,
a
I still
small
don't
ass
really know who I
cast.
trust, or couldn't be happier.
No, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be humbler. Because happy is what happens when all your dreams come true.
All right, I think that's enough. Ah, the light.
I'm shocked, like shocked that I won HOH. As soon as you said 25, my heart dropped. Like I wasn't ready for it. I was like, 25? How did I get so many? Like I didn't want to win. You just kept saying everybody else's numbers is like 14, 15, 19. And I'm like, oh my fucking God.
I can tell that Shelby is not excited about winning this. I think she would have definitely preferred that Joe, Dustin, or myself won, just because this is going to kind of involve her throwing herself out a little bit and kind of getting maybe a little bit of blood on her hands. You know, this whole week so far and last week we talked about how we need to get Taylor out, how Taylor needs to go. So it'll be interesting to see if she actually tries to make that move. I'm going to push for it because ultimately that's who I want to see go. I think Taylor and Chris are two huge threats in this game, and the quicker we can get them out, the better for my game.
I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. I think it's going to impact my game in a huge way, which is why I didn't want to win HOH. I feel like other people that I'm aligned with have more reasons to nominate the people that I actually want gone. I feel like having to make nominations is only going to complicate my game. I feel like I've done a pretty good job right now at keeping things pretty basic. And now I finally have to show my cards a little bit. I don't really have any initial plans. I have a target. Ideally, I would like Taylor to leave this week. But I'm not sure how to make that happen without f***ing up potential connection, potential alliances or potential relationships. I feel like it's a big move that I didn't necessarily want to make, but that I really feel is necessary this week.
I'm coming for you, Taylor and Chris. I'm coming.
You're such a loser.
Oh, I want their blood on these hands.
I'm going to get their blood on my hands.
No, you're going to put up Mandy and Andrew. I think it's safe to say is Mandy a lock.
You know what I could do? I could nominate Mandy and Sean.
Really?
Because if Taylor and Sean are really close, then I guarantee either Mandy goes or someone who's really close with Taylor goes. Put up Sean and Taylor.
The only thing, though, is if you put up Sean, Dustin might not be cool with that.
Like, honestly, I don't give a f***. Like, I get you're close with Sean and Dustin's close with Sean, but if he's not making an effort with me, there's nothing I can do about it.
No,
like
100%.
I don't know. I have so many options.
You do.
To talk to more people.
Shelby won. the head of household competition. I had an injury, so I couldn't be in the competition. So Shelby ended up winning. And personally, I felt like I had a really great relationship with Shelby. I thought, like last week, we talked quite a bit about the possibility of us aligning. I've always sought her out since night one to talk to and talk game with and, you know, try and make comfortable and all those types of things. And she's definitely somebody I've always had very high on my list to team up with. She's never seemed very receptive on the other end. I mean, last week I talked to her quite a bit about us teaming up. I talked to her about, you know, should we make a group? Because she was like, I feel really on the outs. I feel really alone. And I was like, no, I totally get that. Do you want to lock something down? She never would. Like, she never locked anything down with me. She said, well, I don't know who I'd want in a group. And I was like, well, we can just lock something down ourselves. And she kind of brushed over the conversation and moved on. And then whenever I asked her about the vote last week, she immediately was like, well, I'm voting out Pam, so if you vote with me, then like we'll be voting together kind of thing. But like she didn't talk to me about it or anything. Like we didn't plan it together. This week, since she's won, I've heard from a couple of people. I've heard from Joe, I've heard from Jacob that she is planning on putting up Mandy. I mean, of course, I asked Joe, I was like, oh, are you aligned with Shelby? Because Shelby's obviously asking you your opinion. And he said no, that because they voted together last week, that Shelby trusts Joe. And that's concerning to me because I didn't think it was supposed to be a sides thing. And that's how people have led it to believe, like, oh, it's not sides. Like, it just happened to be people voting. But if Joe's telling me now that Shelby wants to work with him because they voted together, then I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, if it's not, then it should be back to a playing field. There shouldn't have been any trust developed because of voting to keep John, because according to them, the entire thing was getting rid of Pam because Pam was potentially like a pawn over and over again. So I just don't see any way that Joe is with me more than he is with her or than he is with John, which has now moved Joe up to being my number one target. So if I were to win HOH, he would be the person I'd put up at this point because I'd want to get rid of him because I just don't trust him and what he's telling me doesn't add up to like my logic of thinking. I've tried to tell Shelby like, oh, let's work together. You know, we kind of locked something down last week and then she's been really non-responsive to me. She's never told me anything about nominating Mandy and she's like torn on who else she'll be putting up. So that means I'm fairly high on that list, which means I'm fairly low on her list of people to work with. So that's very... I don't know why she would do that. Like, that's really weird. I mean, if it were me, I'd make a deal with everybody except the two people I was putting up. She's either nominating me or just not playing it well. I don't know.
Shelby won HOH. Yeah, I'm safe. I'm definitely safe. And I'm pretty excited to see her win. I would have preferred someone on the other side to win just because I trust them more. But with Shelby winning, I like her a lot and I feel good with her being the HOH. She pulls me onto a call and she kind of gives me her rundown, right? Amanda's her easy nom. Okay. Then she says she doesn't know who to put up as a second nom and that she's getting a lot of pressure for Andrew. Which, by the way, I keep forgetting his name because he's that irrelevant to me. She basically says, Andrew's not going to go up because I don't want to. So I'm like, okay, you do you, girl. Like, I hate Andrew, but you do you. I definitely, like, ran through some ideas with her. Like what the other side would have done if they won HOH.
Like, how are you feeling about people? Because I want to do something that's good for like us, like not.
I was gonna say the person I probably trust like a lot, like that I feel like would really have my back is Ryan. Okay. And I think Ryan would definitely, like, if I told him like don't put up Shelby if you won, like I really don't think he would.
And in doing so, I was trying to sort of pin the target on anyone but Ryan, because she initially said Ryan as an idea for a second nom, and I would shut that shit down. I basically was like, Shelby, don't do this. Don't do it, please. Ryan definitely has my back, and I trust Ryan and like Ryan a lot, And I think really everyone that she's possibly going to nominate this round has my back. So I'm definitely going to lose an ally this round, but I'm also kind of aligned with everybody. So it's really like, I'm losing an ally, but I got like 10 more to go. It looks like she's pointing the gun at Sean, Chris, and Taylor. And I was like, I kept subtly hitting. You know, I think Taylor and Chris Brown, they seem to like you. They wouldn't put you up, but Sean, I don't know, this guy's a gamer. I kind of kept saying things like that. I really feel like shit about it because I actually really do like and trust Sean. Sean just does things and he says things where, like, he will use my name as a scapegoat. And even though I think Sean has my best interests at heart, like, I trust Taylor more than him. I trust Chris Brown more than him. So those are the options for the biggest splash this week that Shelby wants to make, probably. I want it to be Sean. I want it to be a Sean splash. A splash Shawnee. A Shawnee McShawn Sean Splashertons. I'm hoping that my conversation with Shelby leads her into that thought process. And other than that, like, those three, Chris Brown, Taylor, and Sean, one of them's about to get a shot to the head this week. I think Amanda's in for a rude awakening as well. I told her last week that people wanted her up, and she's about to find out who, so.
Obviously, everyone is against me in the house. And by everyone, I mean no one. Like, I don't know who's even saying my name. Like, I wish, like, people said shit to Michael week 1, now they're saying shit to Shelby week 2, and I'm like, none of you people talk game to me. Why do I have to start every stupid conversation? Like, I hate talking game. I'd rather just talk to you as a person and let you talk game. Then I can go, oh yeah, let's talk. But no, none of these people talk to me. I'm like, hey, and they're like, hey, and I'm like, how's it going? And they're like, it's going good. How are you? And I'm like, I'm really swamped with work. Like, I'm at least like reaching out and like trying to start a dialogue, but like they don't make it easy. And I feel like I've had this struggle the last like few games that I've played. So I'm just getting frustrated because like how do you play this game online and not sound fake as when you talk to someone? Hey, let me arbitrarily ask you about some bullshit I don't care about so I can then talk game with you, which is what I actually care about. Yeah, that's my feeling right now. Chris and Michael are the only few people that actually tried to talk game with me and not make it feel like pulling teeth. So, yay them.
Just one other little thing that like concerns me this week is that I actually have a really, really solid, trusting relationship with Mandy, and I almost feel certain that she's going to be one of the ones that's going to be targeted this week, because I don't feel that she's being social enough with everyone in the house. I have, I guess, some really great news. I had a really, really great conversation with Shelby. Basically, what came from the conversation is that I really want to work with her. I'm really down with her, and I really wanted to get a group together that included both her and I. And was trying to feel out like who she wanted to work with. I will say that, you know, through all of our drunken mess, like, you know, like my people that I love. I'm not trying to like push anything too quickly because it's like I want it to happen naturally. But I think that that's kind of the natural progression, like the way that it's going. The people who are always on calls, like drinking together, are the ones that really like seem to be the people that I want to invest my time and play the game with. Like you, Dustin, Jacob, like Taylor, Sean. Like these are people that I like.
Like I feel like I'm on calls with like the group of people that we like are on calls with, and like people pop in and I feel good about them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm like PMing them all the time.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know if this is just like a social thing, we actually get along, and then hearing that like someone is throwing my name out when I don't really talk to them, but I'm on the calls with them, I'm like, I don't know what this means.
I personally want, yes, a group. I don't know how big the group, but I always think like in a game like Big Brother, like 4 people is like, okay, you can say shit and it's not going to get out. You can trust, you can be down with those people. So that's what I'm really like on the prowl for. I know that I want you to be one person for sure. And just being completely like candid and frank, like I would like Taylor to be one person too. Like I have like just I wasn't sure coming into this game whether I was going to as soon as I saw that we were in the cast together, I was like, let me just like message her and let her know, like, hey, like I know we played together before, we were really close in the last game, but I was like, that doesn't mean anything for this game. Like, I just want you to like go and like build your own relationships, and I'm gonna do the same thing, and then like we can always see like where it comes. I know coming into this conversation, I wanted to like ask you, like, who do you feel really, really like good with? I was hoping one person would be me, but
yeah, no, you're definitely like one of like the, like, I don't feel like super good about a lot of people. I still feel like people haven't really talked to me, and then of course now that I'm HOH, everybody's like, so it's hard to like know. But Dustin is definitely someone that I feel like really, really good about.
Thank you, Jesus. I love Dustin. I was like, please let her say Dustin. I love Dustin. Like,
I love.
So I want that to be our 4. Like if I could be like have anything that I want in this game, I want that to be our 4. I was kind of really upfront and candid about just like my relationship with Taylor, because I felt like the only way to fully get her to trust me is to like give her that insight and information. I don't know whether that ultimately will be the unraveling of my game, but for right now I feel like it may have been a good thing. She felt good about it, and she, thank God, wants to work with Dustin, which I love Dustin. Just on a personal level, I feel like he has that social thing like I do, even though he's, a little more introverted, but he's still able to like be personable and social and like hold conversations and just be fun. And I think that us working together as a group would just be amazing. It works perfectly for me because I know that I was talking with Sean as well, and Sean was saying that, all of his favorite people are the people who are generally on the calls, which includes basically that entire group, and then add Jacob. So, that could be a larger 6 of people, kind of like a voting block. And then I could have a core 4 within there, which is me, Shelby, Dustin, and Taylor.
Chris being like, oh yeah, I want Taylor to be in our group. I want this, I want that. I'm just getting more and more frustrated the more I talk to people. I feel like I had no idea what I was going to do when I first became HOH, and then I started talking to a couple of people, and I was like, okay, I know what I want to do. And I started talking to more people, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm literally, like, my game is f***ed. My game is f***ed.
If she puts me up, and I were to stick around somehow, she would be my target after this. I don't like when people don't tell me straight up, hey, you're getting nominated. There's really nothing you can do. The end. I don't like being surprised. I'd rather just know that it's coming. I'm going to assume it's coming right now because I haven't talked to her. So, like, I'm not going to be mad that she nominated me. I'm going to be mad that she didn't warn me when she had the opportunity to nominate me. Like, if she thinks that she's going to nominate me at 7 o'clock tonight, it's 3 hours before the ceremony. Like, give me a chance to at least fight for myself.
All right, it is round 2, and I survived week 1, which is great. What's not so great, though, is that I ended up voting in the minority of a tie. Brady decided last minute to vote to evict Pam, ultimately kind of messing with all the work I had done last round, but I mean, it's all in hindsight now. I had talked with Shelby, and it was an alright conversation. I find every conversation with Shelby is very, like, we're careful with what we say, and it's not because we don't trust each other, but there's just so much going on, and so many people talking to so many different people. Hey.
Hi. Like, if you have any suggestions or things that you think, like...
I'm just, like, concerned with some people not being as active and talking to me as others. And, like, it really shows the difference between someone that's, like, talking to me now versus talking to me when I went HOH or something. I would say the people that are concerning me about, like, not talking to me a lot would be Mandy. And I feel like that's a consensus among almost everyone.
Yeah, that's what I feel, too. Like, Mandy's someone who, like, doesn't even talk to me.
Someone that, like, recently stopped talking to me a lot was Brady, and I don't know if it's
Okay.
just because he won HOH and now he's like
Yeah.
trying to lay low, but I talked to him a decent amount last week, and all of a sudden it's like he's gone.
Yeah, like Brady's definitely been more quiet now that he's not HOH anymore.
People I feel good about, I would say like those that show active participation on house calls. So like Dustin, he's great. I think he's
Yeah, I love
hilarious
Dustin.
and he's easy to talk to. I really like Sean, and obviously Chris and I are good like with each other. He's good with everyone because he's just a social freaking butterfly.
I love Chris. He's so fun. I don't know, like it's weird because I've been like hearing that like with the John vote, the people were like pushing for John to go. Well, this is just what people have like a couple of people have mentioned to me that like people have been pushing for John because of like the BB Hell thing, and I guess people are like, and yeah, Shelby, you were like brought up in that too. So now I'm like, who is saying this?
Yeah.
Because I'm
See,
like, if I knew who was doing that, I'm like, okie dokie, like I'll just pop them on the block. Like,
yeah,
that's
sit
crazy.
down. You're making me a target.
Yeah.
I had heard that there was a group of people that had played BB Hell, and from my understanding, it's you, John, Dustin, Joe, maybe?
They played in one season together, and I was on production for that season, and then Dustin played a different season, and then I played a different season.
Oh, see, I was under the impression, or at least whoever had brought it up to me, that, like, you guys had played together.
Oh, no.
Well,
It was just the three of them, which is why I was kind of like, when people were telling me, like, oh, your name is getting brought up, like, with the BB Hell people, I'm like, I didn't even play BB Hell with any of these people.
Right, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And honestly, last week, so much had happened that it's all, like, blur to what exactly did happen. If I hear something again about BB Hell being brought up, I will come right to you and tell you whoever's been saying this, because I honestly don't remember.
Yeah.
Could have been
No, I
Brady
appreciate
because
that.
he's HOH,
Yeah, maybe.
but I don't remember.
But yeah, I think Mandy is pretty much a lock right now for the one nominee, and then I think I just need to like talk to more people and see like where they're at with people, because I don't want to do something that's gonna like
upset the house,
upset like too many people. Like I understand that like I'm obviously gonna upset at least one person,
right? Because there's
with
so
my
many
nomination.
connections in this game.
Yeah, so it's hard. So I'm just trying to like not worry too much about that, but also not do something that's going to piss like literally everybody off.
Right, exactly.
She lied to me. She lied to me. She lied to me. She lied right to my face. So the lie was that she didn't hear anything about me being included in a BB Hell group. Because Dustin had told me that Taylor mentioned me and Joe and Dustin as being part of a BB Hell group. And I gave her the opportunity to tell me to my face that she said this, and she didn't. Like, I full on was like, have you heard anything about this? I've heard about this. I really just want to find out who this person is, and that's what my plan is for the rest of the day. And she's like, oh, yeah, well, if I hear anything about it, I'll let you know. It might have been Brady. Why would Brady be like, oh, there's this BB Hell group. It includes me, Shelby, John, and Joe. Like, why would he do that? Taylor's trying to throw Brady under the bus, too, and I knew it. I hope I got her at least a little bit nervous, though.
We had talked about who I talked to and who I didn't talk to. I'd said I didn't really talk to John, I didn't really talk to Andrew, I didn't really talk to Mandy, and I didn't deliberately say, like, these are the people that I want nominated, but I was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with these people because they don't talk to me. And I don't like when conversations are one-sided, and I really do feel like conversations are one-sided in that sense. I feel like groups are starting to be formed. I feel like I'm not a part of these groups. I think that there is a 50% chance that I'm nominated this week. I really hope that Shelby, if she were to nominate me, it's 9:20 right now. If she were to nominate me, she would tell me, and that way there's not as much vagueness between the two of us, and there's something to at least, like, go off of. I don't know. I don't want to be surprised at nominations, and I feel like there's a 50% chance that I will be. The thing is that Shelby needs to consider who she puts up on the block and the effect that it's going to have on the house versus, you know, what all this information, trying to decipher all the information that's being told to her and then making a decision based off of the information.
I got dragged into another call with Shelby, and she says to me, "You got problems." I'm like, "What? I got problems? Who's my problem?" "You got 2 problems." "Oh shit, I got 2 problems?" That's more problems than I wanted to have. So I guess Andrew is running his mouth about me. Don't like him. Never cared for Andrew. And then the other person, this is a doozy. The person, one of the people I trusted the most in the game. And I just made a confessional like 3 hours ago and said I was going to protect this person if I could. No. Let's get her now. Taylor.
This person who I've heard mention the BB Hell thing is telling me now that you are the one starting this BB Hell thing.
When I'm in the BB Hell thing.
When you're in the BB Hell thing. Which now suddenly...
When I nominated someone in the BB Hell thing.
And now suddenly this BB Hell thing also includes Dustin because he's played a season of BB Hell.
Can I guess who would... Okay, actually, no, keep talking. Keep telling me your story.
Guess who it is. Okay, this person also made a comment about you last week that I chose to ignore because I'm going to give this person the benefit of the doubt. But...
Oh my god, I'm so nervous who, like, my fucking... Is it someone I nominated?
No.
Oh my goodness. I messed out my HOH then.
So this person made a comment. I was like, it's probably just like a little thing. Like, it's probably nothing big. But they were like, we were talking about the nominations and how I was like, oh yeah, like interesting nominations. And they're like, well, this is what happens when the most inactive person wins HOH.
Oh, I don't even know. I'm actually about to get pissed off, actually.
I know, which is why I haven't told you who it is yet because I don't want you freaking out.
Oh, man. Okay. I really have no idea.
So the first person who also made the comment about you, like, this is what happens when the most inactive person wins HOH, is Taylor Lewis.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, shit's about to go down in this game. Yeah, that's not true at all. I don't know what else to say. I never mentioned that at all, Taylor, or anybody. So,
I know.
And I thought I could trust Taylor, so I really don't know what to say.
I know, that's what I thought too. And then she's like saying all this stuff, and I heard that she was the one that was saying like, oh yeah, like Shelby, Joe, Dustin, Brady, and John.
What's up with that, Taylor? What's up with you going around telling people shit that I didn't say? What's up with you hinting at me I should go on the block? What's up with that? I thought we were good. I thought we were more than good. I thought you were one of my closest allies. Can't trust everybody. I'm quickly learning who to trust. Shelby, I trust. I hope and pray that Shelby does not put me up today, despite people supposedly wanting her to. But Taylor, to do that? Ooh. She doesn't know the can of worms she just opened up. I don't get why she's coming after me. I don't get what the point of it was, because she should have known Shelby was going to tell me. And now all that comes from this is that she just lost probably a really good asset to her game, and now not only did she lose that, but now I'm a liability because I'm going for her ass this week, and I hope Taylor leaves. But I know shit's gonna hit the fan tonight, no matter what, shit's gonna hit the fan, and I'm excited to watch it.
I'm a little stressed. I don't know how it's gonna go.
Hello, and welcome to round 2 of I have no idea what the is going on in this game, but I'm still here. So Shelby won, and I already felt safe with Shelby. That's a tongue twister. And going into the nomination ceremony, I know I'm good.
I think Shelby this week is going to target the people that voted out Jonathan. As though they don't say that there's a side, I think she's going to target those people.
So going into nominations, for the most part, I think I know what I'm doing. All of the like last minute conversations that I've had with people have little bit, but at this point I've told too many people what I plan on doing, and I just don't feel comfortable going back on it, and I feel like I just really need to trust my gut on this one. When I first won HOH, even before I won HOH, there were people that I didn't feel good about, that I was like, hey, I should nominate them. But because of just different situations and different conversations, it just didn't seem like nominating them would be possible without completely destroying my game. But through conversations with people, I've got little bits of information that has made me feel more confident in actually doing what I want instead of doing something that was maybe safer to do. So I think that that's probably why I have like some reservations about it still, is because it feels like a really big move that I didn't necessarily want to be doing, especially not at this point in the game.
Welcome to the nomination ceremony. As HOH, it is my responsibility to nominate 2 house guests for eviction. I will pull the first key, that person is safe. They will pull the next key, and so on and so forth. The first person safe is Dustin.
Thank you, Shelby. Next person safe is Chris.
Thank you, Shelby. The next person safe is Joe.
Thank you, Shelby. The next person safe is Ryan.
Thank you, Shelby. The next person safe is Michael Brady.
Thank you, Shelby. The next person safe is Jacob.
Thank you, Shelby. The next person safe is Jonathan. Since Jonathan is not here, I will pull the next key. The next person safe is Andrew. Since Andrew is not here, I will pull the last key. The last person safe is Mandy.
So this means I've nominated you, Taylor, and you, Sean. I didn't expect to be doing this, but today has literally been such a wild day, full of a lot of information that I haven't exactly known what to do with. The only thing that makes sense for me right now, I want to start off by saying that I really, really, really like both of you. I adore you, and I've loved getting to know you, and I think you're both awesome. And this decision isn't personal at all. You both are kind of people that I haven't had the most conversations with, and they've just kind of been here and there. And then throughout the vote last week and winning HOH this week, I've heard from multiple people that both of you have grouped me in with people based on the fact that I've played the same series with them in the past. Taylor, I brought this up to you today, and I was kind of hoping that you'd own up to it a little bit since I've heard it, and you didn't. And then Sean, we talked about this probably half an hour ago, and we didn't really get anywhere. Yeah, I wondered, you said that you had heard things about me from BB Hell, and you didn't remember who you had heard them from, which didn't really help me much. I just have to go with my gut on this, because there's too much in conversations and instances that just makes me feel really uncomfortable. Once again, I really like both of you. I don't know, I'm very confused about everything, but good luck in veto. This nomination ceremony is adjourned.
So I've decided to nominate Taylor and Sean, and it's pretty much just because I've heard that both of them have been throwing my name out a little bit, or at least making a point on the BB Hell thing, which obviously includes me since I've played BB Hell and I've been on production for BB Hell. I've talked to both of them about it, asking for information from them on what they know about people throwing my name out, and neither of them have really given me anything, so it gives me no other choice. Another thing was I was just going to nominate Taylor to start off with, but I think I have to nominate someone next to Taylor who I think is really close with Taylor to maximize the possibility of her actually going home. I feel safer with Taylor on the block next to someone who I think would keep her or use veto on her. Taylor would be my target, but I'm not picky. I really do like Sean and Taylor both, but just what you gotta do sometimes.